Hey there, my name is Taylor, and this is a recap of the TurboVelo Tuesday Night Crit in Richardson, Texas from July 23rd. So here we are at the beginning of the race, and my brother launched off the front there. His name's Rusty. We normally race together, but the past few weeks I have been out for various reasons, sick, but all good back in it today. And Rusty starts off the front there. You can see him looking back and waving. He realizes he's kind of in no man's land and wants to get back with the pack. So my goal for this race, as per usual, is to treat it like I'm the weakest rider in the field and hang with it for as long as I can. So in general, for me, what that means is trying to be in the middle of the pack. I don't want to be right at the front on the pointy end of the race, and I don't want to be at the back tail gunning because it's easy for me to get dropped that way. So right in the middle of the pack is where I want to be. There's about 20 riders here today, so that means I, during this race, was trying to keep 10 riders ahead of me, more or less. Wasn't keeping an exact count the whole time, but if I look up and see only 3 or 4 riders in front of me, I'm too far up. If I look up and see 15 in front of me, I'm too far back and I need to move ahead. So that's where my head's at for the majority of this race. And we'll see a lot more footage as we go through. Another thing I was trying to do today was stay close on the wheel of the person in front of me. In the past, I've noticed that I have a tendency to leave half a bike length or a bike length, and I feel like being right on the wheel of the person in front of me was going to be advantageous for me this week because I knew I wasn't super strong, so I wanted to get as much draft as possible. And this was, I think it worked out well for me, but in this section you can see like a kind of big gap opened up and then closed back down. The race surges and accordions a little bit, so not always going to be right on the wheel of the person in front of me, but that's what I'm trying for. Here's one of those places where I felt like there were too many riders in front of me. I was too far back, so I just move up a little bit on the outside of this corner and gain a couple wheels there. Here on the start of the third lap, the group is surging for some reason, and you can see there's a gap starting to open up in front of me. I'm doing somewhere between 300 and 400 watts, which is a lot for me, and I am just falling further and further back, and you can see in the rear view there's some guys behind me, so I'm still like in the middle of the pack here, but there's this giant gap in front of me, which I don't like, so I'm trying hard to close it down. Fortunately, the people behind me decide I'm not going fast enough for them, so they start to come around me, and then I can just latch on their wheel and let them close this gap for me. So that worked out great, but I got kind of lucky here, honestly, that there were people behind me that were willing to close this gap down, and as you can see, the front group kind of slows down a little bit as well. So it all worked out, but very possible that I could have been dropped there. We're riding really close together here, and you can't really tell from my footage, but I just barely bump into this guy next to me, like just gently tap him with the outside of my hand. But that's the first time that's happened to me in a race, so sketch me out a little bit. My own fault for riding so close, but still not what you want. For me, the ideal is no contact at all during a race. I'm toward the back of the group right now. There's a lot more people in front of me than there are behind me, but even so, I'm still getting past. I'm not doing no watts, but I'm not doing a whole bunch, and I'm going almost 30 miles an hour, so like, we're moving, but the group is just moving faster, and it doesn't feel great to get past like that, especially when I'm toward the back, like I said, but luckily I'm able to hang on to this wheel in front of me and stay with it, not get dropped. This is one of my favorite places to move up, the inside of this corner, because for some reason the field usually always pushes to the outside and leaves this big, like half of the track open on the inside, and so if there's an opportunity, I like to kind of cut the inside of that corner and take it a little bit quicker and move up a few spots. So you can see that put me almost at the front of the group. And right here I realized like, I don't want to be this far up. So let me kind of soft pedal a little bit and get back a couple wheels so I'm more in the middle of the group and not right at the front third or fourth wheel. For some reason, the pace picks up here. You can see that guy on my right getting up out of the saddle to pedal hard, and I'm losing wheels. That's 2 I've lost. There's another one coming around me. I don't know what got into the water this lap, but everyone is pushing, and I'm trying to hang on. So, yeah. up ahead, there's a lapped rider on the right side, so the field is trying to move left to avoid them, and you can see it gets a little squirrely here, no contact, but a little close for comfort. And then my brother comes up on the left side, he was tail gunning, and he chooses this moment to make an attack. So he pushes super hard, and he gets all the way past the front, off the front even, until somebody reacts and tries to move onto his wheel. So great move by him, excellent time to move up in the field. However, it means everybody is surging and pushing hard, and they don't want to get dropped. And I'm doing my best to stay in the middle of the group here, but losing the wheel, and then, oh, this guy comes across the front of me, and it's hard to tell on the footage, but we bumped like 3 times, so my front wheel ran into maybe him, and then like his rear triangle, and then his wheel, so I bumped and came off, and bumped and came off, and bumped again. Fortunately, I kept it upright, but this was super sketchy. Like I said earlier, hate making contact in races. The preferable way for me would be no contact at all. And in my head right now at this point in the race, I'm trying to think like, do I keep going? Do I try to get back onto this guy's wheel and stick with this race, or do I drop out? Because you can see my heart rate's up at like 180. You know, I'm feeling the adrenaline of almost crashing, and I'm trying to stay away from this guy because I don't want to bump into him again. And going around this corner, I feel like my rear wheel kind of skips out, or I'm not sure what happened. Looking at the footage, seems like nothing at all happened. I couldn't tell you, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I decide, okay, I'm going to take myself out of this race. I put my hand up, pull over to the side, and wait for everybody to pass me so that I can bike into the infield and let my heart rate come down, calm down, and collect myself and just avoid crashing this race. That's really what I wanted to do. So that's the end of the race for me. I was very disappointed to almost crash, but also very fortunate that I didn't crash at all. Very happy to have kept the bike upright and kept the wheel side down. So yeah, anyway, there were a few more laps after this, but I would just sat in the infield and took some slow breaths while I waited for my heart rate to come down. So yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.